Ever managed to pass a class with almost no effort? I wasn't exactly lazy, I just mastered the art of doing as little as possible. During my sophomore year, I had one class everyone dreaded, chemistry. It wasn't difficult. The teacher just had a way of making even oxygen sound boring. By the second week, I had already checked out. I'd walk in, claim the back seat, open my notebook just for appearances, and spend the entire class looking busy. Some days I'd write the date and convince myself I'd accomplished something. Homework, copied 5 minutes before class. Lab work, my partner handled everything while I proudly held the clipboard like I mattered. Then came the tests. I guessed almost every answer, and my grades sank so low that the online grade portal started sending emails that felt more like cries for help than updates. One afternoon, my mom looked at my report card and asked, "Do you even know your grade anymore?" I replied, "Numbers are kind of made up anyway." She wasn't impressed. At that point, passing wasn't even my goal. I just wanted to make it to summer. Then one Monday, our teacher walked in unusually excited and announced a new plan. Every Friday, we'd have a 5-question participation quiz worth easy points. She smiled and said, "If you've been paying attention, these are basically free grades." The class loved the idea. I didn't, because paying attention was the one thing I hadn't been doing. Friday arrived, and I looked at the quiz. Question 1 seemed familiar. Question 2 did too. By question 3, it finally clicked. Every answer had already been said out loud during class. Nothing was hidden, no tricks. She had repeated the important parts over and over with lines like, "Underline this is on the quiz, and remember this for Friday." Apparently, everyone else had noticed long before I did. So instead of learning chemistry, I built a strategy. I stopped taking regular notes. I only wrote down the moments when her voice changed. If she sounded dramatic, I wrote it down. If she paused for emphasis, I wrote it down. If she repeated something twice, I covered it with stars. If she pointed at the board, that became an emergency note. Everyone else's notebooks were perfectly organized. Mine looked completely unhinged. Things like, Chapter 5, page 91. Teacher tapped molecule aggressively. Electrons apparently make terrible life choices. I still didn't understand chemistry. Not even close. But that Friday, the next week, then another 100. Soon classmates started asking me for help. That was the scary part. One girl told me, "You explain everything so clearly." I smiled and said, "Yeah, of course." Truth was, I barely understood any of it. Someone once asked me what a catalyst was. I confidently answered, "Basically, faster chemical." She nodded like I'd just revealed a scientific breakthrough. A few months later, my grade had gone from complete disaster to one of the best in the class. The teacher even used me as an example. See, consistent effort always pays off. Meanwhile, I was thinking, if you knew what I actually did, you'd never say that again. Then final exams arrived. Everyone was stressing over flashcards, study groups, and late-night review sessions. I opened my ridiculous notebook filled with stars, arrows, and random reminders, read through it once, and walked into the exam. Half the questions felt like they had been copied straight from my notes. Not because I understood chemistry, because I understood my teacher. I finished early, got an A. She handed back my exam, smiled, and said, "I always knew you had potential. You finally applied yourself." I smiled, thanked her, and kept the real secret to myself. The easiest class I ever passed wasn't because I suddenly became smarter. It was because I realized the teacher had been giving us the answers all year, and everyone else was so busy studying that they never noticed.